Hi, my name is David Welch. I am at Brothers Tech Center today to show you how to do your kingpins on a 47 to all the way up to 59 Chevy and GMC trucks. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to take these apart. They get worn out just like everything else, and they're going to need to be replaced occasionally. So first thing I like to do is, you see this cap right here, it's on top. A lot of times you can't tell it's in there just because of the dirt and everything, but it's more than likely in there. Sometimes they will fall out. I'll just go ahead and drill a hole in the top. I'll get a screwdriver, kind of wedge it in there and pop that guy out. Sometimes it won't come out and you're really going to have to work on it, and that's the same for everything on this, years and rust and such. Next thing I want to show you is this right here. This is kind of like a lock pin right here, and I've already loosened this up just to get us ahead of the ball game. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it up to the top of my threads right here. A lot of times I like to get wood on top here, and you're just going to hammer that down until the pin moves forward some. Then we can go ahead and take the nut off the rest of the way and gently knock that pin out. So I'll get a little punch like this. I'll make sure it's right on the center and just gently get this the rest of the way out. So with that pin out of there, technically speaking, this shaft that's in the center here, it should just come out, but a lot of times it won't, and it's how much time you're going to have to invest in it. We're going to find out how much time this one's going to take us. Now, you don't have to take the axle out in order to do this. As a matter of fact, if it's still bolted in, it can kind of make it more secure and make it more easy for you. I just did this so you guys could get a better look. Now, I'm just using simple tools here. Just got a punch, just got a hammer. Really, I should be using a ball peen, probably a brass, just in case there's any chips. If this does not work, then we'll have to get a little bit meaner on it. Maybe you have to get a press, might have to get an air hammer. Sometimes you have to heat them up. So different things will work. This is going to be nice and easy for us. This pin is just popping out, and it's going to be a nice day. Just like that. Now, when you're taking off your spindle here, go ahead and just slide it off to the side, and you kind of want to be wary of the shims that are in here. So you'll notice this little skinny guy on top. You got this big fat guy on the bottom. And so when you put it back together, you're going to have to do something similar. Now, inside here, there are these brass bushings. Looks like this. You'll notice that there is a groove in it right here. When you install this, this groove right here wants to line up with your Zerk fitting right here. In this groove, there is actually a hole, and you're going to want to line that up with the Zerk fitting as close as possible too. So I'm going to go ahead and get these brass bushings out of here and install my new ones. This can be like the other things. It can be tough. They might be rusted in. You might have to get a press. You might have to heat them up, etc. I don't think that we're going to have a problem with this guy. I'm going to use my old pin here. Look at that. It just came right out just nice and easy. So we're lucky today. Hopefully you will too. Now, before I go ahead and install this, I just want to show you the difference between 47 to 55 first series and 55 second series all the way up to 59. And the difference is the bushing that goes into the bottom here. This one here actually has bearings in it that you're going to want to grease up before you put in. And you're going to want to notice that on one side here there is lettering, and on the other side there is not. When you install this, the lettering is going to go up. Now, if you have a 55 to 59, it basically looks the same, but it's a little bit different. You'll have this little cup right here. You'll have this brass piece here. That'll go in with the brass up. You'll notice that there's little grooves in this, and those grooves are for the grease to get into. You'll put the two brass pieces together, and then you'll put this little piece here in. It's kind of like a cap that goes on the top. I'd also pre-grease this before you put it in, and you're more than likely going to need this spacer right here. The kit also comes with different spacers that'll typically go on the top if there's too much slack in there from over the years. So those are your differences between your two. Now I'll go ahead and install this up, And these steps will be basically the same from 47 all the way to 59. Again, you got these guys. There's a little brass bushing that goes inside. We're going to slide this in, and we're going to make sure that the hole lines up with a Zerk fitting right here. And that should just slide in relatively easy like that, although sometimes it's going to be a hassle and you're going to have to shave some off, emery cloth, what have you. But we've got these guys in. Now I can go ahead and install this on my axle. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grease everything up pretty liberal. Now, the Zerk fitting, of course, will do it, but we want to do this before and have grease everywhere so that we don't have to worry about that. I've got it all greased up, and hopefully this will go back together nice and easy like. So that is not right, but that is. I'm going to go ahead and install my pin right here. On the pin, notice that there is this slot right here. That slot is going to line up with this hole right here where the lock pin goes in. So have this turned around that direction and go ahead and slide it in. And we're just going to bring it down some of the way. We're not going to come all the way because we have to put in this bearing right here. Again, your lettering is at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and get this guy in. Now, over the years, these might have got a lot more slack in them, and that's what these extra shims right here are for. So go ahead and try to get this in, see how much problem it's giving you or not, see if you need to add some shims or not. This one's a really nice shape, so I don't have to do that. And it's really tough to get this guy in. It should be relatively tough to get in because you don't want a lot of slop in this. So just give me a few minutes to get this guy lined up, and I'll show you what comes next. All right, I can go ahead and bring my shaft down. When I'm doing that, I'm looking for the little notch that's in the shaft and getting it in the right spot. Light tap. Sometimes if it's not quite right, you can grab your spindle here and rotate it just a little bit to line it up. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this guy in. I'm going to gently tap it in because everything may not be lined up and I might have to take it back out again. All right, it's looking good. Now I will go ahead and get my lock nut and put my nut on here. And then I'll go ahead and tighten this up, and that should pull my pin up the rest of the way, but I am going to be watching that. It shouldn't be real difficult to tighten this up and pull it in. So that's coming along pretty good. So I'm not going to bore you with that whole thing there. But that'll tighten down until this pin's basically flush with this edge here. I'll go ahead and get just a little bit more grease up on this top here. And then we're going to go ahead and put this cap that we got from our kit also. And that is generally just going to tap in nice and light. And you want to go around the edges and get it kind of set up. And we're not going to hit in the center because that will not be right. After I get my top in, we'll do the same thing on the bottom, of course. Little extra grease, put the cap on. Then we can go ahead and install this all back on. Now, be sure and check us out on Facebook and on Instagram and on YouTube. Subscribe because I'm doing these every single week so we can get your truck back on the road. We'll see you all there.